Muy buenas tardes para todos.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Mi nombre es Juana Zapata
Her name is Juana Zapata,
y junto a este grupo de personas
and with this group of people,
hemos fundado
the Community Food Partnership,
Lowell Community Partnership.
with this group of people, we founded the Community Food Partnership of Lowell.
Esta es nuestra actividad con el público
This is our first public appearance,
y esperamos que solo sea el primer encuentro
and we just hope this is the first of many events
de una larga cadena de placenteros y productivos encuentros
of many productive events in the future
que vayan en beneficio de la comunidad de Lowell.
that are for the benefit of the community of Lowell.
Le agradecemos sinceramente su presencia
We thank you very kindly for being here,
y esperamos su participación.
and we hope for your participation.
Gracias.
Thank you so much.
So my name is Manu. I am one of the members of the Community Food Partnership of Lowell. I wanted to guide you guys to the restrooms in case you need them. They are past this painting and to your left. Also, more importantly, I have an ideas and questions board. So if there are questions or ideas that you have about food policy, food justice in Lowell, feel free to use one of the Post-its there to post your ideas, and we will discuss it on the mailing list and in meetings going forward. So I also wanted to talk about our group's mission. Our group's mission is to promote and achieve food sovereignty through education, grassroots advocacy, network building, and inclusive community building. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Rayvan. I'm also a part of member for Food Community Partnership, and also I just want to say thank you for spending time to run around from one organization to other. It really appreciate for all your time and come here to listen and to share something, and also the mission of the community food partnership kind of like encourage for the community to get involved and understand the nutrition of the how the food affect to the living and to the children and to the community right now, like more of the space and the community kind of new coming and a lot of food, like how the issue, so that we just want to share how the issue and the problem and to get involved working together to share something, to say something to the city hall or to the state to get impact to the Lowell community. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, and so we've been active for about 2 years right at this point. So for the most part that we've been around, we kind of gonna be mostly behind the scenes, making sure, like we've done some advocacy through the HIP lobby there. We visited Vanna a couple of times. Representative Vanna Howard, the State House, Senator Kennedy as well, all the representatives here in Lowell. And also, like advocated for food policies right here in Lowell. So yeah, I think we're gonna start. I'm gonna bring forward Ali Jacobs, one of the co-executive directors here in Mill City Grows as well, big organization that supports the Community Food Partnership. And we're gonna discuss the community food assessment, which is kind of what led to the formation of this group. And then we hope that afterwards we can all kind of like talk together about food issues here in Lowell and how we can support, like what we said, food sovereignty, and what we can do here to make Lowell a more food safe place.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we did it.
We did the vision already?
Yeah.
Vision statement?
I didn't do that.
What about the mission?
Do you want some time?
Yeah, Dara's gonna do the.
Do you want some time to translate?
Hi everyone.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi everyone. My name is Dara Sok. I'm one of the member Community Food Partnership too. I want to share with the mission. Manu already talked about vision. I was busy interpreting, so I couldn't share the vision. So I'm part of the members since the Community Food Partnership start. I may not be fluent like Juana. He's very she doesn't have a cheat sheet. I have a cheat sheet. So don't mind me. So I'm gonna read off our mission here is correct to connect low eater and growers with the knowledge, resources, and opportunity to be agent of change in shaping our food future through community-centered public policy and food system developments. So I just want to interpret a little bit to Khmer. So អង្គការនេះគឺចង់ផ្ដើមឡើងដើម្បីដូចថាជាក្រុមដើម្បីលើកកម្ពស់និងសម្រេចនៅអធិបតេយ្យភាពស្បៀងអាហារតាមរយៈការអប់រំការតស៊ូមតិនៅមូលដ្ឋាននិងកសាងបណ្ដាញក្នុងសហគមន៍រួមបញ្ចូលគ្នាអញ្ចឹងណាហើយដើម្បីឲ្យចក្ខុវិស័យដែលពួកយើងបានចូលរួមគ្នានឹងឲ្យវាខ្លាយជាការពិតបេសកកម្មយើងគឺចង់ភ្ជាប់សហគមន៍យើងហ្នឹងពាក់ព័ន្ធនឹងអ្នកបរិភោគហើយនឹងអ្នកដាំដំណាំឲ្យនៅក្នុងឡូហ្នឹងឲ្យភ្ជាប់គ្នាទៅដើម្បីឲ្យមានចំណេះដឹងធនធាននិងឱកាសដើម្បីធ្វើជាភ្នាក់ងារនៃការផ្លាស់ប្ដូរនៃការរៀបចំអនាគតនៃអាហាររបស់យើងដូចអាហារទៅអនាគតយ៉ាងម៉េចដូចថាបើសិនជាយើងខ្វះខាតអីយ៉ាងម៉េចដូចថាការឡើងថ្លៃនៅទីផ្សារមិនគេអត់ចង់ឲ្យអាហ្នឹងកើតឡើងបើសិនជាក្រុមយើងអាចទំនាក់ទំនងអ្នកដាំដំណាំហើយនឹងអ្នកហូបអាហារនឹងជាមួយគ្នាបានអញ្ចឹងគឺគោលនយោបាយយើងហ្នឹងឲ្យរក្សានៅផ្ដោតលើសហគមន៍និងអភិវឌ្ឍប្រព័ន្ធអាហារហ្នឹងឲ្យជោគជ័យទៅថ្ងៃអនាគតទៅយើងអាចដូចថាអ្នកដាំដំណាំក៏ចំណេញយើងអ្នកហូបអាហារហ្នឹងក៏ចំណេញដែរដូចថាកុំឲ្យដូចថាផ្សារអីគេអាចឡើងថ្លៃលើកចុះឲ្យបានអញ្ចឹងណាអាហ្នឹងគឺសហគមន៍ពួកយើងនឹងចង់បង្កើតកម្មវិធីអញ្ចឹងដើម្បីឲ្យសហគមន៍ខ្មែរយើងឬក៏ក្រុមអ្នកនៅក្នុងឡូហ្នឹងឲ្យដឹងហើយនឹងមានចំណេះដឹងគ្រប់គ្រាន់នៅក្នុងវិស័យអាហារហ្នឹងតែម្ដងអរគុណ I think it's a lot too long so going next to her sorry.
Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
First of all, I just want to say how wonderful this is. The community food assessment started in 2021. We completed in 2022. And one of our recommendations was to create a food policy council in Lowell. And now we're 2 years later and it's up and running and holding events. And that's very exciting. So it's really awesome. A lot of times people do assessments and not a lot comes out of them. So it's really awesome and important that not only do we ask everybody what they want, but we actually follow up with what they said they wanted. So events like this are really important. The council asked me to, the partnership asked me to just give an overview of what the assessment found out. So, you know, we talked to over 1,000 people in the city of Lowell. We did it in 8 languages. And what we found was 5 recommendation areas. The biggest recommendation area by far was that for people to be more food secure in the city, food needs to be more affordable. And it was really saying that 1 in 5 people in Lowell struggle to purchase food, and 3 in 5 people need help purchasing food. That's a really big metric, right? That means that between 20% to 60% of our neighbors are struggling to purchase food in one way or another. In order to make food more affordable for people, we've looked at a lot of things. One of the things that this group of people is addressing is how can we affect policy, right? Either at the city level or at the state level to help make food more affordable. A lot of that has to do with the SNAP and HIP usage. So one of the major goals of the Community Food Partnership of Lowell is to increase the number of people who are signing people up for SNAP in Lowell. One of the other big findings of the community food assessment, something we already knew, but a big part of what we included, is there's a big gap in SNAP in Lowell and in HIP. So there are people who are eligible for both of these programs who are not using them. And we think there's a lot of reasons for that. A lot of people don't know how to access them. They're intimidated or unable to get over the barrier of the bureaucracy involved. sometimes there's language barriers involved. Sometimes it's an issue of time or capacity for people to sign up for these things. And for HIP, a lot of people just don't know about it. And so we've done a lot of work doing outreach and education. I know the Community Food Partnership has done a lot of work lobbying at the state level to make sure that this program is fully funded. I know right now there is a $15 million HIP budget from the House in the state legislature, but the Senate still has a chance to raise the ceiling on that funding. So call your senator and ask them to vote for it. Go ahead. Vana Howard.
Reach out to 40 of your senators. There are 40 of them. There's 160 of us. We did our job in the House of Representatives. We voted it, all right? So now reach out to all 40 of our senators.
There you go. Get them on speed dial. There were 4 other areas. I'd like to talk about affordability first because we came up with 5 different recommendations, but affordability was so far above the others in urgency, in people's level of request. So we received something like 800 comments in the open answer sections of the community food assessment. And of those 800 comments, 500 people said they needed more money. So that's astronomical. So the other recommendations, also important, but affordability has to be first, has to be present. It's also always important to mention that affordability doesn't look the same for every community. We saw that there was a lot more food insecurity in Latina communities and Southeast Asian communities than there are in white communities. And that's really important in a city like Lowell, where a lot of people are from the Latina and the Southeast Asian community. So we're seeing up to 47% food insecurity in those communities, as opposed to, I think, around 25% from white Lowellians. So just something to keep in mind that affordability doesn't look the same for every group of people who's living here. The other recommendations that came through included education. So people are looking for education on around how to get food, how to cook food, how to grow food. New Americans would like lessons on how to buy things and what types of foods are available here. We found that there's also a large gap around, I'll move over to retail, was another one of the recommendation areas. So in retail, we have the affordability issue again. So we want to make sure that there are more retail locations that are offering affordable food. We also want to make sure that those retail locations are accessible to people where they are. They're close to people in their neighborhoods, and they're carrying the types of foods the people in those neighborhoods want to eat, right? So we have a lot of different cultures here, over 70 different languages spoken in Lowell. It's important that if you have 70 different languages, you also have 70 different types of food that are being eaten, right? There are a lot of different cultures here that want a lot of different types of food, and there's overlap between groups, but we need to make sure that that's represented in those retail locations. So we're also working with, Mill City Grows has a mobile market. We're working with residents to make sure that we have different types of food represented in that mobile market. And there's, we're actually purchasing from growers from a lot of different cultures to stock that with crops from those cultures. But we also need to look at all the other retail places in the city. There are like a lot of great neighborhood markets in Lowell that do carry a lot of different foods. How do we make those more accessible and affordable to people and make sure that people know where they are and make sure that those businesses are also supported and that they're doing well, because healthy business is important for healthy food choices. We're also looking at the quality of life for people in the city, and that can include a lot of things. A lot of folks responded they don't have time to cook. Time and resources and energy to prepare food is really important. So a lot of people fall back on fast food, restaurants, delivery, because they just don't have enough time to feed their families. How do we actually reclaim some time for families in the city? How do we make things a little bit easier? A lot of people with kids, especially, were giving a lot of feedback. You know, I'm running around, I'm doing a million things. I just don't have time for this. The shopping, the cooking, all of these things. So that's another area that we're looking at. And then the fifth recommendations we did, affordability, retail, education, quality of life. And the fifth one, which I should have remembered better, was urban agriculture. It's my specialty. So a lot of people did have feedback about growing their own food. Lowell is a great city full of amazing gardens. We have lots of community gardens, and if you walk around the Highlands and the Acre, everybody's growing food in their yards. So this is a really important part of us. Mill City Grows has done, actually, since we completed the community food assessment, we've done a lot in this category, which is good because it's what we do. But so we've started a market garden program where we're actually giving more space to community growers and helping them grow more food. That's largely folks from Cambodia, Kenya, Cameroon. And then we also have started working with some local farmers to do the same from the same areas. And then we're also involved in a giant new project over in Pawtucketville called the Pawtucket Farm Wildlife Sanctuary, which is going to include a new permanent farm stand, which is going to have those affordable food options for people. It's going to have local food from us and from our local farming partners. It's going to have a new 30 to 50 family community garden. And it's going to have food education and a lot of nature and conservation education in the same space, because we really want to talk about climate change, nature, wildlife, and food all in one space, because we all have to kind of live together. So that's an update on both what the community food assessment highlighted as needs and also some of the things that we're doing about it in the last 2 years, and are going to continue doing things through the Lowell Community Food Partnership and Mill City Grows, and hopefully folks in this room will also get involved.
So yeah, so at this time, we pretty much want to open the floor, just if people have anything that they want to add, just kind of have a general discussion, some of the things that we discussed here with the, community food assessment, or any other things that you think that should be brought to the table that we can do policy-wise. But also when it comes to that, we also kind of have some questions that we also want to ask to, just to kind of guide it in case, you don't kind of come with that. So if we're saying, like, what local policies may help food access in Lowell, and what, so what do you think needs to happen at like a local level here in Lowell to help increase food access? And it could be any of these issues that we just talked about, whether it's quality of life, education, access to land and farm here in the city. What are some of the things that you want to recommend? If you want to say something, you can raise your hand. We can bring you the little microphone so that it can get recorded and all that. So, yeah.
Hi, thank you so much for hosting this, Mill City Grows and the Food Consortium partnership. Will you be doing this into, in other communities, in the Highlands, in the Acre, in South Lowell, other neighborhoods instead of right here in downtown? Will you be bringing this to the neighborhood if you want folks to know more about food access, where to know where to get food, where to, really it's all about access, right? And so will you be bringing this to other neighborhoods?
I think that would be like a great idea to actually bring this. I mean, this is like our very first one that we did. And we actually really hope to do many more of this. Like, we want this to be kind of like an ongoing thing. So we don't want it to be like a one and over, because we know like some of these things can change. So it's not like, we talked about it and then, we call your office, let's say, for something, and then we just go our way. No, like, this is gonna there's always something that we can do. So, and yes, like, if we can bring it to as many people as possible and make it accessible to as many more people as we can, yes.
Yes, and if there's anything Yeah, just keep us posted, the Lowell delegation, let us post it where you're gonna be next, you know, what you're gonna do, so we can help promote, this type of gathering, okay? Thank you.
Yeah, that's an excellent idea. I'm going to make sure that we include it in our notes to discuss that going forward so we can host even the same thing, because we want to make sure that all of the 1,000 different folks that were represented in the study are represented in the work that we're doing, hopefully recruitment-wise, but also information access-wise, you know.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Vanak, and I am part of Mill City Grows. I'm one of the board members. Also, I'm an educator, as that's my job. Anyway, I think that it's a great idea, put into different communities. At the same time, I think it would be great if you can bring it to different nonprofit organizations like CMAA. We are part of, you can come and have this type of thing in that building as well, or at the Latin X. Same thing with the African communities and other communities. I think this would be a great start, yes. Specifically, if we're not doing it at the park, if we're not doing it at the, we are, I guess, inclusive to including, what we're talking about, and just expand it to different organizations as well.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Definitely taking note. Yes, children, especially parents. Temples is a great idea. I don't think we've talked about religious institutions too much, so that's helpful. Oh, you have a list? Oh, okay. Allie in the clutch. Thank you.
That's the
I guess like everyone in this row is gonna. Do you have any partnerships with like the larger local supermarkets, for food that's like almost expired, potentially like buying it at a very low rate to distribute it in the community? Or I'm just thinking about ways to reduce food waste. And I know that supermarkets typically throw out quite a bit of food, and if that's something that's been explored by the policy.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think that the Greater Lowell Food Pantry and the Merrimack Valley Food Bank have those partnerships. So I think, one way that the community food partnership could be helpful is to see if there's more coordination that needs to happen between those institutions. But there are already some like emergency food providers who do a lot of like food reclamation and distribution.
Great question.
Anyone else have anything to say? I know it's like the little microphone thing.
Thank you.
Actually, I'll be near the microphone.
Perfect. Thank you, Enrique. So this is more of a question for folks. I'm not just Lowell based. My name is Leah. I'm from Project Bread, and we focus on SNAP a lot. And since this was a couple years ago, have you had much traction with your SNAP outreach efforts? Has there been a lot of positive feedback? What's been kind of the response, and where are still the struggle points a couple years now since the assessment was done?
I'm actually going to answer that question like it was asked about HIP, because we do a lot of HIP education in the community. Mill City Grows does, and we track HIP usage from year to year. And I can say actually since, I wish I knew this statistic off the top of my head, but I think it's gone up like 150% since the community food assessment, which is awesome. And it was 3% usage when we did it during the community food assessment. So it's now at like 8.9% usage in the city. So that's a huge win. And there's still so much work to be done. In terms of SNAP partners, I think probably Enrique can answer that better.
Yeah, so for SNAP partners, right now, actually during the time of the assessment, there were 2. What it's been happening is like, I think right now there's still 2, but there are other organizations that pretty much have been taking on the work of being outreach partners without really officially being an outreach partner, and they're trying to become an outreach partner. And yeah, like I actually had a meeting with like some of the folks at the Coalition for a Better Acre that run their pantry. and I was talking to them about this specifically. What they were saying is like their main actually like barrier is actually that contacting DTA to even get certified and go through that process of becoming an outreach partner. So they being like, hey, we want to go through this process, and they just being like, oh, here's an info session next Friday, come join it, you know? So like, they're like, no, we already did that. We wanna like go through the process. And I also know that one of the ones that we weren't counting was Catholic Charities Pantry. But what I'm not 100% sure is if their outreach partner is actually based in Lowell per se, or if it's in one of their other offices around town. I know one of the local homeless hunger commission meetings, they mentioned that they were an outreach partner, but I mean, since they're in Lowell, so I'm assuming that they're saying they're doing it here in Lowell, but also like when I look into their website, like about all their information when it comes to like, oh, we are an outreach partner or not, it doesn't mention anything, only in some of the other offices. So at that point, I'm not 100% sure. So I'm like, are they, aren't they? So I don't know. So that would be like that point when it comes to that. Yeah.
So, that's a question. I know that Courtney and I talked about this, about how you said the SNAP and how folks who are on the, you know, so they receive money from the state, like, with that help. Now, how do they access that? Like with their EBT card? Like, do you just bring the EBT card and go to the farm stand and able to use that like that, or do you have to sign up? Is there a process?
There is no process. If you have SNAP, you have HIP in the state of Massachusetts. So depending on your family size, you have $40, $60, or $80 a month. You always have it, no matter what. It can only be used in certain places. All of Mill City, I'm fairly certain all of the farmers markets in Lowell and all of the farm stands adjacent to Lowell accept it. So Mill City Grows accepted it. North of Boston Farm at Mill Number 5 on Sundays accepts it. Lowell Farmers Market, which is going to start back up, I think, in June or July. They accept it. Farmer Dave's accepts it. Most of the farm stands around, they all accept it. So it's pretty ubiquitous. All you have to do is have a balance on your card because it's an immediate reimbursement. So usually if you come to Mill City Grows, we just request that you have like a $5 balance on your card. So if you're going to buy $20 of vegetables, we'll just run it 4 times, right? You just need to have a balance of some amount, and $5 is kind of our limit, so we're not just like running 20 transactions.
Because I know that there's people who get that money for food just by the regular monthly money, but you said it's additional, right? For them, that's what I want to make sure it's clear, so I can start talking to folks about that. And I think another way we can also educate this through, like, for example, like CMAA, we have a Wednesday weekly news, and we can make sure that they talk about it as well.
We also have information in the back, and we do have it translated into Khmer as well. We can send that to CMAA with you.
Great, thank you.
Is the Wednesday weekly news, is that a mailing list or that's in person? It's live.
Yeah, live.
Zoom? Oh, live on Facebook. Oh, nice. Okay.
Anyone has any other comments or questions or ideas right now on that end? So, okay. I have another question. It's kind of like a very open-ended question, and I just kind of wanted to ask this question just to see what people would say, right? And it's kind of philosophical, right? But how do food affects your life? Who will want to like talk and take on that?
Hi, I'm Courtney McSparron. I'm the co-executive director of Mill City Grows, and there's lots of answers to that question, I think, and maybe because I've been doing a lot of food as medicine work in the last few days. The first thing I think of is health. You know, it's the access to the things that you need to keep yourself healthy physically and emotionally too. You know, it's your connection to community, but it's really a way to be healthy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to add also to food, like people can like contribute to their own culture. They can cook what they really like. So they bring the culture, they bring out the variety, and also like kind of enjoy. No people like they not say no to the food. So they if you want connect two people from to other, bring the food. That's all.
Anyone else?
Food is our basic need of life. So we need food in order to be able to, I guess, live, survive.
She's my mom. I dragged her here. She got stroke 3 months ago, and then I tried to make her more active. Yeah, to me, my point of view, food is everything. Like, without food, you cannot survive, you cannot connect to community. Like, piggyback to what Srevan say, if you want to connect, it's not only make you eat gathering, also, you know, connect to the culture, like Srevan just say, if you want networking, those food can bring people together. So that's why I think food is everything. If you say to your life, I think if gathering without food, it's no fun either. And summer is coming up, cook out. That's food.
I just wanted to say food is also joy. It makes people happy. And I think a lot of times we focus on like food security and making sure people have enough to eat, but also like people should eat what makes them happy. People should eat together and enjoy. So we should also like remember, like, we have these awesome egg rolls today. One of my favorite things about Lowell is like all of the amazing types of food that you can get here, and it's so good. And all of the food here is so good, and that's so important to be able to just like really find a lot of joy in what we eat.
One of the things that's funny for me is I just yelling that, okay. I think one of the funny thing is they ask me the table or discussion any kind of different topic. I have a lot of idea, but come to the food to say, oh, you have any idea about the food? I don't be mind. Okay, whatever you can bring the food, I will say yes all the time.
All right. Actually, I just kind of, while everyone was talking about it, and we're talking about the hip, it's something that I think I've said in our meetings at Mill City Grows before or something. It is, for example, that we're talking a lot about hip access a little bit ago, and one of the things like here in Lowell, yes, we have a lot of markets in Lowell where we can accept hip, but we don't have like a permanent spot where like anyone can go from Sunday to Saturday and actually accept hip. We usually have like for a few hours every day that in times that not everyone can do that. You know what I mean? So how to maybe like make hip something that it's more accessible than in some places that it's not like hours a week, you know what I mean? So, you know, it's like, oh, I know that I can go somewhere and use my hip points if I can or can't, you know what I mean? So, yeah, something to think about, you know, because farmers markets are there, but they're not there all the time, unfortunately. So.
And I think like also like the people do coming, they can really hard to access to. I'm sure they not know how to apply for the hip or something like that. And also the language could be the problem too. Yeah, so that compare between the hip and the snap, they don't know how to between those connection. If not someone to explain them, they absolutely not know how to use all those stuff. And also like we already know that the technology would be play impact to all that community. Not all everyone know how to access apply in online. So the new coming they just start English basic so that they're not really like complete really well how to do this, to do that, and also the network outside it can be a problem too. They don't know who they can access for help. That really a part of the problem.
Point. I'm running out of questions too. Comments. so yeah. And we also actually, I don't know if actually we forgot to mention it, but we do have the little board over there in the back. So if you're like kind of shy, don't like talking in out loud in front of everyone, you can actually write it and put it in there. And yeah, so yeah, if you have any questions also for us, for the group or anything, what we're doing, please also let us know. You can say it over here. We can answer it and all that. So yeah.
Hi, my name is Jen Smith. I'm one of the food service managers for the Lowell Public School Food and Nutrition Department. It's a pretty big district. So we have about 15,000 students that we're catering for in the city of Lowell, and I think we have 20 plus school gardens across the district, which is huge. I think food education is, the biggest portion for our students, but how do we also educate, the parents that are sending their students to school with us every single day? And how do we promote, obviously we have free meals for all in the city and the state of Massachusetts, which is amazing, I will say. How do we always are promoting as a department, we have free breakfast and free lunch, and we're trying as hard as we can to serve culturally relevant meals. We just launched a soy ginger chicken taco, arroz con pollo, loklak. So we're doing a lot for the students, but how do we kind of increase the different cultures that are represented across the district? So we partner with Jessica Lander's class and, take her tasting history cookbook and try to, use our USDA regulations that we have to follow, and how do we serve that on our menu? So I think we're doing a lot for our students, but how do we also involve the parents of those students to try to get them on board as well? So yeah.
Anyone else? Any comments? Actually, run out of questions for that matter. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, if this is all we want to discuss, that's totally great. If you are interested in joining our group, we actually meet every Monday, the first Monday and the third Monday of the month. So if you're interested, come talk to any one of us with this little tag, and we'll, get you more information so you can join our group and start working towards all these things. So, yeah, thank you so much for coming. Thank you.